friends, and even members of this neighborhood that are first responders. We have always expressed our support for first responders and them getting the help that they so desperately need and deserve, but in a different location. That's the heart of the matter, location. Hale and their supporters have focused on the need for the facility, but that is not the issue. It's a local zoning issue for this particular property. A resident of Columbia County with deep pockets bought this property and gifted it to the Hale Foundation. He knew when he bought it that it was zoned residential, and the Hale Foundation also knew that the neighbors had successfully fought the establishment of a similar facility a couple of years prior. They didn't care. They didn't care what the neighbors thought. They didn't care what the consequences would be for the neighborhood or the magnet school. He bought it anyway. A little over a year ago, the commissioners failed to grant the zoning exception for what Hale called an affordable treatment center for substance abuse. It failed to gain approval because it was not an appropriate use for this property. It was not in harmony with the current land use in this area. The fact that they changed who would be treated didn't change what the facility would be. As a matter of fact, the expansion of the program to include PTSD and other serious mental health diagnoses made it even less suitable for this location. There are several other locations in Richmond County, properties that already have the proper zoning that would be better suited for this facility. We hope and pray that the Augusta Commissioners agree and vote to support the tax-paying residents of their districts, voting no to the granting of the zoning exception for the property at 3042 Eagle Drive. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Roberta Hatcher, the wife of George Hatcher, and I will be reading this statement on behalf of he and myself. Many narratives have been painted in the press about our community by people who do not live in Green Meadows. And what has been stated usually only refers to us as faceless residents, instead of the mix of hard-working people and long-time homeowners living here in this beautiful and peaceful neighborhood. Who are we? We are teachers. We are combat veterans and public servants. Like many of you, our homes in Green Meadows are our biggest investments, and our families are our dearest, most precious possessions. Please know that we strongly support all first responders, and that this issue centers on the location of a drug treatment facility and not on those who would be treated. Claims saying otherwise are false and manipulative. We appreciate the selflessness of all who choose to be law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency responders. And yes, we empathize with those struggling with addiction. We know the value of these treatment centers, but do not think it is fair for residents of Green Meadows to be forced to live next to a facility that houses recovering addicts from throughout Georgia and other states. These are strangers with no vested interest in our community. We want our commissioners to oppose the zoning exception as a measure not only to ensure our families stay safe, but to ward off negative impacts to our home values. There are news reports around the country of leaders in other municipalities rejecting similar facilities in small neighborhoods like Green Meadows for the same reason. For more than a year, some of us in Green Meadows neighborhood have studied what really happens to communities such as ours when these treatment centers come in. For instance, a national study published in the Journal of Sustainable Real Estate in 2014 found that a neighboring treatment center is associated with an 8% reduction in nearby home prices and as much as a 17% decrease in home values for centers specifically treating opiate addictions such as heroin and morphine. Even with all of the precautions and protocols the Health Foundation reportedly has put in place, there is no guarantee that our home values will not decrease, nor is there any assurance that patients won't walk off the facility into our neighborhood. The bottom line is this: an inpatient drug treatment center like Valor Station will serve its students for a medical or life justice zone area, not among family children, not among senior adults. Thank you.
To deny this request. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Yeah, all the praise.
Blessings and good morning to each of you. We stand today to be in agreement with the residents here. We've heard from the residents. We've seen the signs and hundreds of the yards out here. And this particular neighborhood is a special neighborhood because it consists of retired individuals that have worked hard all of their lives and built a neighborhood that's safe, that's a haven for them. And they do not want this facility in their neighborhood. And we stand in agreement with that because they don't want it. And because of that, I want to encourage the commissioners to do the right thing, to vote no, stand with these seniors, stand with the residents here, and vote no. And I also want to encourage each of us, those of you that are here and those of you that's watching on Facebook Live, those that are watching on the news, to call your commissioner. Come on, this is about a power line.
Yeah.
You know, we could stand, we could protest, we could march, we could do all of that all day. But the power lies in contacting the mayor, the commissioners, and letting them know that you stand with the Green Meadows subdivision and you said no to this rehab facility. In closing, I stand as a pastor, as a community leader, but also as a community activist. And I'm in agreement with the seniors here. And I want to give a, I don't know what word to use. I want to caution those that's been elected to serve us. You're supposed to be the voice for the people.
Yes.
These are the people that have elected you.
Yes.
We realize, can I just real talk? We realize that a couple of the commissioners are on their way out. Don't go out being a sellout.
All right.
Stand with these residents and look at it like this, because this is how I look at it. Your mother, your grandmother, your father, your grandfather could be the ones that's out here trying to protect what they have built. They in the last, well, I want to say last, but let's say the second half of their life. And they want to live it in peace. Don't interrupt that. Vote no, commissioners. We're talking to the commissioners. It's in your hands.
Yes.
And treat it like it's your family. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
Good afternoon. Thank you everybody for being out here. This situation I'm facing in Harold Jones, this situation is actually very simple. Quite frankly, the petitioners are asking for a special exemption. And this is no different than any other special exemption that we asked for. This neighborhood has been residential. It had one special exemption, which was for a convent that was here, and it's basically been residential for the last 40, 50 years. And so what these residents are saying is that they want their neighborhood basically to stay as it is, to continue to be residential.
Yeah.
And all of the other things that are kind of put out there, that's just kind of like a sideshow, quite frankly. Yeah. The question is, should a special exemption be given? Especially when you cannot point to any necessary tangible benefit, not only to the residents of this area, but also to the residents of Augusta Richmond County in general. So it's very easy for me to stand with these particular residents when you have this many residents who come out here in the heat and come out here to support the activities that are going on. You see almost every yard here has a sign in it saying that they're opposed to this particular project. How can I as an elected official ignore that? Right. That would be wrong for me. And I think it would be a quite travesty of elected officials in our community actually don't listen to the residents of this community, especially the residents that directly voted for them. And I am an elected official, been an elected official twice. And the backbone of our power, so to speak, is nothing but the people that elected us. They're the ones who are always right. And when they come in these numbers to say that this is how they feel, it is our obligation, quite frankly, to support the residents and to come out and support them, not only physically, but to support them in our vote. Thank you very much.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank all those that support us. We ask you that they adhere to what they had to say. I'm just going to be myself for a while. I've been over here for 35 years. There are some that have been over here at least 45 years. 55 years.
My God, my God.
When we moved over here, they said this was just a little piece of heaven. And as I grew up, as my family grew up in this community, we had no problem. Crime in this community for the last 5 or 10 years is very, very, very low. So we see that we do not want our safety, our security, our sense of serene taken away from us in the thought of a medical, drugs, alcohol, rehabilitation in our neighborhood. Yeah. It's not adjacent to our neighborhood. Yeah. It is in our neighborhood. In fact, it is at the end of Eagle Drive, 3042 Eagle Drive, and I stay at 3030 Eagle Drive. So you know it's not about 2 or 3 houses down. Everyone is saying that we are racist. This has nothing to do with race.
No.
This really has nothing to do with Health Foundation. This has to do with that we do not like, do not want. Hope our commission will vote along with us. We do not want a drug. Let me say that again. A drug rehabilitation in our neighborhood. Think about that for a minute. All outsiders say that we're not right. But they don't live here.
That's right.
They don't have anything to do with Green Meadows.
Yes.
In fact, until the Health Foundation started back there, they didn't even know this existed.
That's right.
It's a shame that somebody can buy something and decide that they want to do whatever they want to do in somebody else's neighborhood.
All right.
I beg you residents, supporters of Green Meadows, call your commissioners. You got a letter with all the telephone numbers on it. You got emails. Call your commissioners. Tell them to vote no for the special exemption for Health Foundation for the treatment center in Green Meadows. Thank you for coming out. Hold on just 1 minute. I have somebody from the Richmond County Alliance of Neighborhoods.
Good morning. My name is Gene Lowry, and I'm the president of the Richmond County Neighborhood Association Alliance. And this is for the commissioners. we consist of over 30 neighborhoods in this area. And this is the first time that I have found that I have a 100% participation agreement that this should not be in this neighborhood. And I've contacted other organizations, and we are coming together. This is a new day in Augusta here. We will not forget what our commissioners do tomorrow.
That's right.
We will not forget.
That's right.
And we want to go on record right now.
Amen.
It's saying that we oppose it, and the residents of Richmond County and our organization 100% oppose this rehab center. So we're just asking the commissioners to do what we put you in there to do.
That's right.
Do what we put you in there to do. You represent Richmond County. You don't represent
Columbia County.
I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm saying. Thank you so much, and we look forward for our commissioner's support on tomorrow. Thank you.
I'm Gary Garner. I have a business on Lumpkin between Shelby and Wells for the last 15 years, and live on Norton Drive in all the communities. I got really involved with this about a year and a half ago whenever it was really stirred up, and came over and drove through here, very carefully drove the streets, and saw how you kept the yards and lawns and homes and everything, and it was like, wow, why would this group of people be saddled with something that nobody else wants?
Amen.
That's right.
Amen.
And I had come over here a number of times over the years, up to the convent. I'd walk through your subdivision on Sunday, go up to the convent, sit on the floor up there, and just spend time with the Lord in this big chapel. Beautiful place. They just stayed open for people.
Yeah.
Wonderful place. Nuns did a great job for all the years they were up there. So I came back from all that and really felt stirred up and fired up, like, we can't let this happen. The first thing, of course, I thought was increasing the drug culture down here on Lumpkin Road is the last thing we need to do. And all back in through Shelby and all this stuff and the drug houses and everything. And I look out the window and I see the police cars, you know, with the trunks open on the cars and the drug arrests and all this stuff. We didn't need any more of that. So I wrote this big article in the Chronicle and took a full stance for y'all, for the community, for Green Meadows, against this drug center. So then I felt like, well, maybe I need to know a little more. So I went down to Hale House and met the man that was running the place, who's since gone to glory. Good man. Beautiful operation. The facilities, the people were orderly, everything was really something. So it was like, well, yeah, but bringing a drug center into South Augusta, mostly at the wish of people in West Augusta,
Yes.
is not right.
Not right.
So then they changed and decided it was going to be not just drug addicts, but it was going to be specific first responders, people like this. Okay, so that made a little different look, a lot different look. Then the next thing we heard was it was not going to be exited past the magnet school, but they were going to be able to buy a little tract of land out to Richmond Hill and build a driveway that would be away from everything. So then it started looking different, like, so anyway, I just wanted to suggest one other thought. I'm fully with you that we should not do anything that would decrease the values of your property. And you know, you talk about maybe they would drop 8 or 10%. Well, if y'all started selling your homes to slum landlords,
It's going down.
it would be a slum neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Can't do it. But I heard something yesterday. I just wanted to put it out here. You know, I don't know if you know this, but some of you do. This piece of property was a gift to Hale House.
Right. Right.
Flat out gift. Wrote a check, paid for it. The non took the check and said, it's all yours. Now you do whatever you want to do with it. Well, the nuns didn't know that they couldn't do what they wanted to do with it. So the nuns walked at North Augusta, and they have a very nice place in North Augusta. But this place is bought and paid for as a gift. So what I was hearing yesterday is, if Hale House really wants to do this, and is serious about doing it, then before they could be permitted, require them to build a driveway to Richmond Hill and build a beautiful brick wall from Richmond Hill all the way to the end of the property. It looks like a great subdivision. Just cut glass on the top of it so nobody can climb over it. Have them landscape it like the prettiest place in Augusta National. And then see if y'all would approve it. You know, it's not always just yes or no, but there might be another way. I mean, these are good people, and none of us has come through this life without sinning. And none of us. And these people fell on hard times, however they did it, maybe serving us. But the fact is, compassion is always out there and is needed to be used. You know, be compassionate to others, and the Lord will be compassionate to you. So, if I were you, I would just present a very hard bar for them to get over that is doable. Certainly if they can have a $500,000 piece of property given to them, they could spend $30,000 or $40,000 to build a great brick wall. They could seal off from one end to the other with nobody able to get on this side of it. It would look great. You wouldn't hear them, see them. They'd never be able to come down that driveway. Every bit of it would be brick, all beautiful. And could be, that might be the Lord's plan for all of this. But, well, y'all should not have to lose a cent out of your hard-earned value of your houses to put a drug house of any kind on your property at the request of people who live across town in big houses. Shouldn't happen.
One quick response, please. One quick response.
Where we gonna go?
They don't want it in their neighborhood. Now, why don't I suggest this? That the Green Meadows subdivision will get a committee to go in West Augusta and find some land, find a location there, and put it there.
Well, it really could be like a great smooth.
A brick wall does not keep cell phones and drugs out of state and federal prison.
Thank y'all.
Even a wall, fences with guards and shooters cannot keep cell phones and drugs out of incarcerated prisons. How's the wall gonna keep crime on that other side? It ain't happening.